Hi everybody, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs, and I'm here a day late. I usually post my videos on Tuesday and Thursday, but I said that there's a lot of stuff going on and I may have to just pop in when I can. I had a rough weekend. We lost my dog Leia. I mean, she had been sick, so it wasn't a surprise, but it was still tough. And I really honestly didn't think I could do a video yesterday, or Monday, or usually I do my Tuesday videos. I film them on Monday. So anyway, it was still very rough, and I just decided not to. So anyway, I'm going to do it today, and I'm, doing much better, but it's still kind of rough. Anyway, what we were doing is, let me get our little box down. We were making things to go in our little shaker box that we made. I love doing that. I don't know why, I just do. But anyway, it does get stuck in corners and stuff sometimes, but I just think it's cool. But what I'm trying to do is just make a few things that go in here. That doesn't belong in here, but we're going to use it later. That go in our box. And we are eventually going to make a little journal that goes in here. But I wanted to just kind of do a few more things that go in here. This is the one I chose. We had made these in a previous video, and I'm going to put that one in here. So that's the first thing that's going to go in the box, okay? And then we're going to make a few more things, and one of them, I think you guys, I could tell from the views on the video that you kind of liked the little ornaments that we made, and I'll go ahead and put that in the description box in case you missed it. But anyway, they turned out kind of cute, and they were fun to make, pretty easy, and I could see that as a gift by itself, or you could add it to what we already did. But anyway, these were the ones that we made, and I mean, I think it's a cute little gift. I always would go, I don't know, seemed like, of course, this year with all the stuff going on, we don't have, the get-togethers that we did, but I just always remember that I would have ornament swaps that would go on all the time, and I always like to do like a handmade ornament, something special, to give to somebody, and I think these would, they would work as that. So anyway, not only that, these are very light. If you wanted to mail them in a little mailer, you could do that with a card or something. I just think that that would be kind of a cute thing to do. Okay, so we're going to move on from that, and today we're going to do something that I think will be fun. And we're going to utilize our little tins that we rusted, okay? Let me kind of show you. I guess I should show you what we're going to make. I've got stuff caught to it over here. I was trying to be organized, but okay. I haven't been in here in a couple days, so this is what we're going to make. And the little tins that we make, that's on the bottom. And it can either be something that you put on a desk or a table or something, or you can hang it as an ornament, okay? And it will be yet another thing that we can fit in our little box. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Super easy. I am using these trees, and I bought a big package of them, and I got them off of Amazon, and if I remember, I will try and put the link in there. I really couldn't tell you which size. There are different sizes in here, but I know it's not the small one. It's kind of probably one of the bigger ones. Yeah, let me get one out. They're all kind of, I haven't really opened up the secondary bag yet. I just ripped into it. But they do come in different sizes, and you can make a lot of cool things with them. You could even use them in the little tins that we had. If you wanted to, you could, you know, cut those off and put them in there and decorate them and do whatever. But I think Tim Holtz has these too, and, you know, and they're really relatively the same. But I just have a problem. I tend to buy things in bulk, okay? Because the price is so much cheaper than if you buy like 3 or 4 things, you know? And I do know that you can get these in hobby, like, you know, craft stores and stuff like that, Hobby Lobby or Joann's or whatever, they sell them too. And they're relatively inexpensive, and they're pretty readily available. I'm trying not to do things that you wouldn't either have on hand or couldn't easily get. So I'm trying to make it to where, you know, this is stuff that's accessible to everyone. This is, you know, the different kind of sisal tree that looks like kind of like a bottle brush. You can find these other ones, and these are the synthetic kind of trees. And you could possibly do this thing with it, but it would be a completely different look. And if you look at the top of these trees, they're all kind of smushed together, and I don't know that it would work very well on something like that. You really kind of need this, okay? You can color these any color you want. The way you would do it is with alcohol ink. As if you have spray alcohol ink, just spray it and it would definitely change the color. And I've done that. For this, we're not going to do that. We're going to leave it just the color it is. It's kind of a natural kind of beige color, and I'm trying to go for like a vintage kind of look. So I think that will work well with it. Plus it makes it easier. And we're just going to use a few things that hopefully you have on hand. If you don't, then you can certainly get them very easily. I am going to be using some alcohol ink, and I have a box here. I got this off of Amazon not too long ago, and you can still get them. And I'm not saying this is better than another brand or whatever. This is just what I have. You can get those. Again, I will be using our tins that we had, and you can get those off Amazon. And I'm only going to be using the very small one in this whole set. And the cool thing about that is you don't really need, the small ones are kind of hard to do these little decorations in because they're so small. You can't really fit anything in them. So this kind of utilizes that. I am going to use just some regular alcohol ink colors. You can use whatever colors you have on hand, but I'm also using this Ranger silver alcohol ink, and this is a step that you could probably do with silver paint or rub-on or whatever, but I have this and it works pretty well for this. I'm also going to be using a little bit of this ginger alcohol ink, and I'll show you why in a minute. I'm going to get these out without dropping them. These are just synthetic, these little pearls that you get, all, you know, different kinds. And we're going to do, hopefully, this project and do it 2 different ways, so you can see 2 different looks, okay? But these are just different color pearl beads, and I think I got some of this from old necklaces, some of it from a craft shop, you know, beads that I had on hand, just different colors. I do like the different beiges and mushroom and those things. And for one of our things, we will use those. And also, just some little cups. I always get these little cups when I think about it. Whenever they have them they usually have them for different seasons or whatever. And I use these to mix things in and stuff like that, because, you know, you can throw them away and whatever. I have different ones for the different colors of alcohol ink, and I have a few of those around. I will be using, you know, some 3-in-1 glue. I am going to be using just some white chalk paint. You don't have to use that. If you have gesso, you could use that, or any kind of white paint. I'm going to be using a little bit of this iridescent glitter. Let's see, I have a few more of these little pearls here on the side. I'll put them over here. And then this is wire. This is like 20 gauge, I believe. Oh no, it's 24 gauge. And you just need kind of a lightweight, easy to maneuver wire. And that is only just for a small portion of this. Just something, you could even take the wire out of a twisty thing and use that if you don't have any. I have some of that same ginger alcohol ink mixed with some alcohol in a little spray bottle, and I'll be using that. Also, these are the tins we're using, and we have the rusted tin that I rusted from the last time I did those, and we're going to do one with that. And then we're going to take one, this is, oh, excuse me, right out of the package. Let me get these out of the way. Just without rusting it, and we're going to do something with that. So if you don't want to go through the trouble of rusting, although I'll have to say that I don't think it's that hard to do this. You know, I have a little plastic container, and I just dump everything in it that I want to rust. And it just takes, you know, pretty much 3 household ingredients, and you can rust things. But we're also going to do this, and that's where the ginger alcohol ink is going to come in. And a little super glue if you want to use it, or you can use your 3-in-1. I'm going to use a little sanding block. And also, I am going to use my glass glitter that I used in my last video. And it does go a long way. Also, I'm going to use a little bit of this bead wire. And this is a lightweight wire. What gauge is this? Does it have it on here? I don't think it has the gauge. It doesn't really have it. But this is just a lightweight bead wire. It has really good flexibility. It says 31 millimeter. I don't know. But it's very lightweight. And this is what we're going to use for the top of our tree. And just pretty much a paintbrush and a little bit of our shaved ice. We're going to use that too. Okay, so anyway, let me put some of this aside so that we can kind of get to working on our stuff. Okay, let me put all this back over here. I'm running out of room to put things on my side. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take our little unrusted tin like this. Let me move this aside so you guys can see. We're going to take our little unrusted tin that we have, and I'm going to paint this with my chalk paint. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to do that first just so that everything else will dry. I mean, it will dry by the time so we can get to the next part. And I think I'm just going to put a little piece of paper under there so I don't have to worry about getting paint everywhere. I was just going to prop it on that, but I don't know if I need to. Let's see. And honestly, I just kind of sloppy paint this. Get that off my fingers. Well, it's not sitting there very good. I'll just use this then. How about that? Okay. Anyway, I'm just going to pour a little paint out. That little sticker thing got stuff on there. All right. Let's see if I have something else to put that on. Just do that. Because I put that there so I can use that top of that thing later. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and, well, I guess I could put it in here. That would probably make more sense. Just take a little paint out if it comes out. It doesn't take much to do this. And you could use gesso, but this covers a little bit faster. And I'm not caring if I get 100% perfect coverage. I'm just trying to cover the whole thing white. And let's get a little bit more paint over here. And I'm covering the whole thing up, and it doesn't have to be beautiful. You're just going to kind of cover it. You could do a couple coats on here if you want to. I'm probably not going to, just for the sake of the video, but it could probably use a couple coats. I'm going to do a little bit more on there. I think normally you do one, you know, a thin coat, let it dry, and then do another one. But I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more on here just so that we can just do one coat. And the top doesn't really matter because you're not going to really see that. And this is something too, if you didn't want to rust your other tins that we did before, you could have painted them and not done that part. You could have done it what we're going to do today. So anyway, I'm going to put this aside so that it dries while we're doing our next part. Okay, and put my brush in here. Okay, so we did that part, and we're going to go ahead and move to the next part. Okay, the next part is simply these little balls on here are all those little pearls, okay? And they have this kind of glistening look to them, this vintage look to them. And I actually did it a little bit more in the ones that I made. And let me move this. Oh yeah, and I forgot. We are going to be using these little snowflakes for the top of our tree. I should have more of them sitting around. I don't know what happened to them. Anyway, so let me give you an idea. Hopefully you can see how these look. These have like this little bit of silver in there, and I wanted them to look like the old-fashioned ornaments that have like the mercury, you know, and when they're old, they're chipping. And I also, there's different sizes in here too. There's smaller sizes too. And that is just how you make them. I'm just going to show you how to do a few, just to kind of give you an idea of how you do it. You do have to have, oh, there they are. I put that thing right on top. Okay, so let's just say I'm going to pick, and I usually don't do my colored ones because I like to use those in my little other tree that I'm going to show you. Okay, I'm probably not going to use those. I'm using my all round ones. And I'm just going to pick a few out. Not the dark colored ones because you can't really, well, I don't want to do the teeny tiny ones. I'm just picking a few out of here. And they're just, these are different kinds. These are from different necklaces and different things that I've had. So it's not really any real rhyme or reason to this. I'm just doing them to, you know, to color them to use in my tree. So I just have a handful of them, and they're random. And I'm going to put them, let's see, I'm trying to remember what colors I had in here. I think I'll do this. I'm going to do, let's see what color. I'll just do some turquoise. okay? And the way you do it is you take your alcohol ink, and you don't put a lot. You just put, and it really depends on how many you have in there, but let's just say you have a few like this. You would probably put only maybe 3 drops in there, okay? And then you just start rolling this around. Oh, one of them bounced out, okay? And the less that you put on there, the less coloring that'll be on there. And I kind of like it like that way. If you look at these, they don't have a lot. It does need a little bit more. But if you want that kind of chipped old ornament look, the less you put on there, the more you're going to get that, okay? Just kind of keep moving them around. And the trick on this is really just to kind of make sure that you move it around. All right, let me get a little thing to put these on. I wish I had a cleaner here. I guess I don't. Then what I do is I just find something to let them dry. This is an old one that I used. Let them dry a little bit. See, that one could have probably used a little bit more ink. Yeah, I'll just do a tiny bit more. One more drop. And different colors will turn out a little bit differently, but okay. So I'm going to let that dry a little bit. And I actually think these look kind of cool by themselves, but that's how that color would look. Let's try another color so I can show you. Let's see. Let's try the rose hip. That turned out really kind of cool. We'll do that. So let me just get a few more of these. It's kind of funny whenever you're trying to find the right one. I should have picked through these first, but the only ones that are showing up in when I pick them up are the ones I don't want. So. And I use different colors, different sizes when I'm doing this, just to have some interest in my tree. So, you know, you can do what you want. I don't use the really tiny ones because you end up not really being able to see them. So again, we're just going to put a few little drops in there. And start moving it around. And the reason I have these in the different tubs and the different colors is because if you were to add a color like the turquoise in there, it would actually reactivate the color that's in there, and then it would mix, which, you know, could be fine too. You can mix them. It's not like you can't mix them. Okay, so I think that one turned out. That turned out pretty good. You know, and obviously the more you mix them, the more they're gonna end up, you know, whatever color you want. Okay, so you let those dry, and it does not take long for them to dry at all. And there's two things you can do to kind of, I don't know, I guess vintage them up a little bit. Let me see, I don't have, oh, that's this one right here. So I gotta take these out. Hopefully they won't fall. I don't want to put them in there. That's another thing. I use these little plastic things all the time whenever I'm doing beads and stuff. So I have somewhere to put stuff. Yeah, this little cup right here is my vintage them up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to take these because I guarantee they're already dry. So these kind of already look kind of cool. They look mottled, but I am going to put them in here. I am going to take the tiniest drop, to shake this up a little bit, of this silver, okay? And this is from Ranger, but I know other brands have it too, but I mean just a tiny drop, okay? Does not take much. And then I'm going to take these and I'm going to roll those in there, okay? And that's probably already too much, okay? Take those out. And what that does is it gives them that kind of mercury glass chipped ornament look, which I think looks really cool, okay? You may not like it. You may want to skip that part, but I like it. I think it really gives them a very authentic old ornament look. Okay, so now I'm going to take these and do the same thing. And there may already be enough in there to do it, right? Okay. Now see, there was a little that was already left, and it doesn't take much to do this. So that may have done it enough for that. Yeah, I think it has. Yep. So I'm going to put those in here. And that was just from the leftover silver that was in there. So that kind of did that. Okay. So that's how you do those in whatever color you want, whatever size. And you know, if you do it and you don't like how it looks, you can put more ink in there and redo it. So anyway, that's all you do to color these beads. Now you can get the little pearl beads like that without the holes in them. They cost more and they're kind of hard to come by right now. I know Ranger sells them and Tim Holtz and whatever, but honestly, you can't see the little holes in there if you place them in the tree right. So it's up to you if you want to do that. I mean, I just think this works out just fine. So I think these are dry, but so now what I'm going to do is we're going to actually decorate our tree at this point. Okay. So I am going to just take this and I am going to use hot glue, and I am just going to put little blobs of hot glue wherever I want to put a color. Separate these out more so I can actually see them. So move that to the side. We'll use that later. Okay, so now all we're going to do is we're going to take our hot glue and I'm just going to pick up an ornament, and I just kind of randomly place colors. I may work with one color and go around or do whatever, but so then I just make sure you put the holes sideways or in the back to where you won't see them. And you can see when I put this in here, you're not going to really see the hole. And I just push it in. I don't push it all the way to the back, but I push it in a little, okay? And then I'll just go around, and I may do the same color in a few places just so that I know that I've got it all around. Or I may just decide, you know, a lot of times it's whatever I just pick up at the time. And I'm not really touching the hot glue. And you can see, hopefully you can see that. The holes are facing the sides, so you cannot see the holes in them. So there's really, to me, no point in paying more. And then, you know, that's just kind of how it works. So let's say I want to do, and that's kind of what I do is I usually take just one color and go around and put it in different spots so that I know it's kind of moved around a little bit. And it does not take long at all to do this. Ooh, that guy, see the hole is in front. Even if you do get the hole in front, honestly guys, you're not going to notice it unless you're really looking for it. Okay, yeah, turned it over. You do have a tiny bit of time with your hot glue, but not a lot. You definitely could use your 3-in-1 glue on this. Hot glue just is faster. So it's up to you. you know, totally up to you how you want to do that. So let's just try some different colors. Put that one in. I'm going to turn that over a little bit. There we go. And I usually start with my bigger size first. I don't know why. I think it's just easier for me to figure out, you know, how to fill them in. And so I'll do that. Like maybe I'll put one right up here. And I leave room on top for the smaller ones, but I'll put a few bigger ones up there. Okay. Let me get some other colors in there. And you know, you can make however many colors that you have available to you. So it's just, I bought that one thing of alcohol ink, and also I have a way of making your own alcohol ink. Now, not the concentrated, this is like a spray. And I don't know that the spray would work real well on this because it wouldn't be enough concentrated color, but you could try it. I haven't really ever tried it. It probably would work to some extent, and it might actually turn out pretty cool, but I don't know. I haven't tried that. But the drops of alcohol ink obviously is concentrated. It doesn't take much. Put one maybe up here. So we haven't used any yellow. Maybe put a yellow one right here. And I just randomly go in and, you know, you can take your time, be really picky or whatever. I don't know. It doesn't, I don't think you can really mess this up. It's kind of hard to. And then maybe put another yellow one right here. I have two green ones close to each other. I didn't realize that. Okay. And I'm just kind of looking around, seeing where I have spots that I missed, just like you would if you're decorating a Christmas tree. I've got two purples there, so I could put a turquoise one that I don't have. Oop, here we go. I forgot to use the turquoise. Put that right here. I found my spot and then I lost it. Yeah, right here. Anyway, you know, you just kind of want to put them wherever you think they look good. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to this that you have to do these a certain way. I think maybe right here. Okay, so now I think we have enough of the big ones for now. And I would probably go in at this point and start taking the smaller ones, which I put all over the tree. I put mostly, you know, some in the top, but I don't do just that. And I will go ahead and put those in. And just basically take different colors and kind of stash them around and then figure out, you know, where I want them. Let's see what color I just did. I didn't do a pink yet, but I do a pink right there. And you know, you probably want to, you know, space them out just like you're doing the other ones. Excuse me. Excuse me. Anyway, gosh, I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, put these all over. And I have, I think I'm using 3 different sizes. So, and I think that looks good to use different sizes. So, you know, it gives you a little bit of, a little, different look throughout the tree. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think it would look as good if you did like all one size, you know. So, okay, I think I'll put a little one in here. Trying to hurry, guys, because I know that this is kind of boring watching me do this, because I think you get the gist of it, but I don't want to put pink there. At this point, really, it's just kind of determining what size is going to look good in what spot. I mean, that's kind of what I think at this point. I have 2 pink ones. What other colors do I have? I have green, but I don't think I have a small green, so I have to use a bigger one. So I'll do that. And as you fill it up, you'll figure out what you need to put and where you need to put it. So, I do want to put a smaller one there, so I think I'll use turquoise for that. Even though there's one there. Anyway, that's kind of what you do. You could fill it in more than that. I think I would put maybe a few more small ones in here. I'm not sure where, but let's see. I think it does need a few more small ones. And I just really kind of fill in with the smaller ones when I get to the end. That's kind of how I do it. And that's kind of how it's going to turn out in the end. You can load it up more. You can do less. It's really up to you. Let's see, I don't have a pink one there. I could tell it needs one down there. You just kind of hold it up and just kind of look around and go, okay, so what do I need? What color do I need? And, you know, that's pretty much how you do it, guys. That's it. That is all you do, okay? And then you're going to take, move these over here. You're going to take your tree at this point, and where is my, here it is. These are just some little, I guess, charms that I bought. And I am going to use this for a tree topper, okay? And I don't know that you could really hot glue this on there to where it would stay well, so I don't even try. So what I do is I take my wire, which I have to figure out where I put it. Move these out of the way. Don't need them anymore. Oh, it should be here somewhere. Here it is. Okay. Don't need those anymore. Oh, you know what, guys? The one thing I was going to tell you, if you don't think that your Christmas balls look vintagey enough, you can take a little bit of your other alcohol ink, what did I call it? The ginger, or, you know, latte or coffee or whatever that is, whatever that color is. And you can take that and spray it or drop it in your little container and just squish it around on the outside. Here, let me show you some just to give you an idea of how you do that. I did kind of skip that. because I kind of liked the way they looked, so I wasn't really too concerned with it. But you can vintage them up a tiny bit, because I liked how those turned out, but just let me show you some that maybe could use a little vintaging. I'll take some of these pink ones, okay? Just say that I want them to look a little bit more vintagey, a little older. All you would do, like maybe a few of these, okay? So all you would do is just take like a drop, just like we did with the silver, a drop. I mean, really, guys. And you're going to put these in there and squish them around. And what that will do is that will give them just a tiny, tiny bit of a vintagey look. And that will, if you want to add that to them, I forgot to do that on these. I think they turned out okay anyway, but that gives it just, here, I'll show you. These are the ones I didn't do, and those are the ones I did do. It's very subtle, but it adds a little bit more of a vintage look to it. So that's up to you if you want to do that or not, but you know, it's just something to think about. Okay, so what I do is I take this, and I had my wire, there it is. Okay, I just take a piece of wire, probably, you know, about 10 inches, 12 inches, enough for me to work with. And this is really easy wire to work with. So you want something that's very pliable that you can, you know, that you can mess with, because we're basically going to take this and we're going to put this wire. I have glue all on my fingers, so I'll try and get that off later, I guess. And I'm just going to put it through the bottom part of this little charm. Okay, so basically it's on there like that. And then I'm going to take this and I am going to put it, I'm basically wiring it to the top of this tree. So I'm going to stick this kind of in the top, the very top of the tree. It won't go in it really. It's really kind of on top. And then I'm just going to take, I'm going to go toward the middle so I have something to work with. Kind of toward the middle, okay? Doesn't have to be exact, but it's just so that you have something to work with. And you're just going to take your tree or your ornament or charm, I guess. And you're going to take it toward the top of the tree and go right toward the top, right there. You've got a little bit of the top on there, okay? And you're just going to twist that around to where you get it super tight, okay? And you can do it with your hands, you can do it with pliers, whatever you want to do it with. And I've got this in there pretty tight, okay? But I want it tighter, so I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to just basically pull on each end. I twisted it once, and I'm just going to pull. And that is going to get it really tight, okay? You could do it with your hands, but I think it works a little better with the pliers. And I'm just going to do it one more time around this little thing, okay? Just closer to the top of this part that's on there, okay? And then twist it one time. Just twist it kind of up over itself, all right? That way I can tighten it. And I'm going to take this pliers again, and I am just going to tighten this. And you could use like the top of like of a twist from a bread or something like that. You don't have to. If I happen to have this wire, but if you don't have any, you could do that. It would work. This is just a longer piece is easier to work with. Okay, so now I just twist it to where it's not going to come undone. I don't want to do too much because I don't want it to show very much. Tighten it up. Okay. And all that did is put this at the top of the tree and put it on there pretty tight. I think we could go one more time. Okay. And that you're just basically getting your tree topper on there is all you're doing. And you could glue it, but I don't know if it would be sturdy enough. Okay, so anyway, I do that and I get it where I want it. Okay, see, it's still kind of moving around a little bit. I'm going to cut this as close as I can, and you will see the wire on top a little bit, but that's okay. You don't want it to be a big blob of wire, but you're going to see the wire on top when you're done. You're going to see there's a little bit of wire up there, but that's okay. We're going to cover that up. Okay, it's kind of wobbly on top, and that's okay. That's where we're going to take our glue, our hot glue, and we're going to put our hot glue on the back of this, right where it's kind of wobbly, and get it to where it'll be stiff, okay? So we're just going to take our hot glue on the back and put, oh, I'm running out of hot glue, okay? And we're just going to put a blob of hot glue, okay, right in the back, right there, and let it dry. And that is going to hold this up straight, okay? If you have to put some in front to hold it, that's okay too. It'll work, okay? I just get it to where I hold it in place long enough to where it stays, and then that way it'll stay in place, okay? Now it's not going to come off because the wire is holding it on there, okay? You're just using the hot glue to get it from tilting or doing whatever. Okay, so now that we've done that, the next thing we're going to do with our tree is we're going to get our glitter out. You knew there had to be glitter. And this is my little container that I have a mixture of the shaved ice, and also, where did my other glitter go? Oh, here it is. My iridescent. This what it is I'll do one and then I'll do the other, and then I end up with both. And so now I've got it all in this little container. It does need a little bit more glitter in there, I think. So this is kind of just a mixture of both of those. If you don't have both, you could certainly do the iridescent. You could do white. You could do whatever. I think the iridescent looks better just because, I don't know, it glistens a little bit. And I don't put a lot on this, but I do put some. Now, the first off, if you look at the top of our tree, we put the wire on there, then we put our glue. So it's a little globby right at the top, okay? You may have some glue showing. You may have some wire showing. So we are going to take our paintbrush with just some Mod Podge or white glue or whatever kind of glue you want to use. I'm using this Mod Podge just because I have it out, okay? And I'm going to take some glue and make sure I get glue at the top of that, okay? And it's just going to wind up looking like you have snow at the top of your tree. But you want to cover all of that part that you just globbed on the glue and the wire and all that, so that it is covered, okay? So even if you get some on your star, that's okay. But all you're doing is covering that really well, and then you're going to definitely take some of your glitter stuff and put it on top. And it will cover that, okay? And you will not even see the wire. You won't see anything else. And it's just going to look like you have snow at the top of your tree, okay? Now, what I do is I take my Mod Podge or glitter glue or whatever, and I just hit the branches, the top of the branches, kind of randomly all the way through my tree. If some of it gets on your little pearls, that's okay. I'm not trying to put it on there, but if it gets on there, I'm not going to stress about it, okay? And I'm just going to do that all over. And some will be in globs, some won't. Do that all up and down the tree. Wherever you want it. I mean, it's not going to make any difference, really, in the end. Right? And it doesn't matter if you get some on your little pearls. It's not going to make any difference. In fact, I think it looks kind of cool. And then I just take my glitter glue mixture, and I start sprinkling all over. I'm gonna have to pour some back in here because I'm gonna lose some. Hold on. I could take some of the other and individually do it, but I just want to use what I have. Just keep going all around. You can do it with your hands. This kind of works a little better if you do it with your hands, but remember your Mod Podge or your white glue is going to dry clear. And right now it looks a little glumpier than it's going to when it's done. If you want to, you can kind of roll it in there if you think that'll get it on there better. I didn't really do that. I think I just kind of just put it in different spots and it just stuck, you know. So anyway, that's kind of how you do it. Shake off the excess. And then when it dries, you will have some little snow and glitter and stuff on there. And it looks like there's more on there than there really is. Just because, you know, the white glue is still white. But that's kind of how it'll look when it's done, which is kind of cool. But we're not done yet. Let me move this aside so we don't have glitter everywhere. We will anyway. No matter how much you try and contain it, you can never contain it. But okay, so there we go with that. So the next thing I'm going to do, let me get this out of here so that I can not have to worry about that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, while this is drying, it doesn't take long to dry. And if you need to put more on top or more anywhere, then you can just, you know, go back in and touch it up or do whatever. But you get the idea. Don't need these anymore. Okay, so now let's go back and look at our little top that we did. And it is not 100% dry. So I am going to hit this with the heat gun just a tiny bit. Sorry about that, guys. And that's probably only because I did a second coat on it, but you know, I would let it dry all the way, but it's not the end of the world if you don't. I do need a little bit drier than what I'm doing. I'm going up close because if it bubbles a little bit or peels, that's okay. All right. Let's see if that's a little drier. Okay, so anyway, that is dry enough to do what we're going to do. At this point, I want this to be a more distressed look. So I am taking, this is a combination of alcohol and alcohol ink drops. And I'm going to, first of all, this is ginger. And the reason I use ginger is it gives it kind of a rusted look. It's kind of a, I don't know. It's not as dark as like the latte and some of the others. So, but anyway, I'm going to take drops and I'm going to put little drops on here, which are a little bit more concentrated than I want them to be. But then what I'm going to do right away is I'm going to take my alcohol spray and I'm going to spray it. And what that'll do is it kind of dilutes it a little bit and it makes it a little more natural looking, like it would, where it would normally rust. Okay, so I'm going to take that. I don't want to get it all over my fingers because it does take a while to get it off. And, you know, you hate to waste what's in there. I'm going to dip something in there because I have to. I just can't leave it. So anyway, it will dry fairly quickly. So I'm going to put that off to the side. I never waste this stuff. This stuff to me is gold because there's so many things that you can dip in there and vintage them up. Let me see what I have that I can put in there. I usually always have gauze sitting here, and right now I don't. Okay, here we go, yeah. Like, see this gauze? I don't ever let this stuff go to waste. So I would take this piece, And this, I'm not even doing this for this, but you could use it for this, okay? Later on, we could use this. So I am not going to waste that. I'm going to stick that on there. And see, you can see the color on that. And if I take some regular alcohol and mix it in there, because I want to clean off my mat anyway, and I'm going to take that alcohol and I'm just going to rub this around, even though I told you I didn't want to put it on my hands. I'm going to rub this around in there, okay? And it's still too white in spots. And I'm just going to take that and move it around. This is saturated with alcohol, and it moves the color around a little bit. I could have took a bigger piece, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys. Okay, so that's a little darker than I would want it, but you get the idea. You can definitely not waste those little drops. Always have something next to you that you can mop it up with, that you can use later, and then I'll just go hang this somewhere, and you know, that's just what I do. So that way when I want something that's kind of a rust color like that, I already have it. Okay, so anyway, then this is our little tin. We're letting that dry. It's almost dry. Let me pop it with the heat gun a little bit. So we've kind of made it look vintage and rusty without even doing any rust to it, okay? So how vintage you want it to look and how rusty that's totally up to you. The one that I did over here, I didn't do very much at all, okay? This one I did quite a bit. So it's really totally up to you how you want it to look, okay? So at that point, what you can do is, if you want to, let this cool off a little because it's hot from the, you can, oop, yeah, it's still hot. Let it cool off. Is you're just gonna, you can sand off some of the paint and rough it up a little bit more if you want to. Use this so I don't burn my fingers. And I'm just gonna sand some of the sides a little bit. You know, how rough you want it to look, that is totally up to you, okay? I'm not saying, you know, it's your preference. You may not even want to do the alcohol ink rust look at all. You may want to just go straight to the white, okay? Anyway, so I took some of the paint off of this on here, and so I made it just look a little bit rougher, okay? You may not like that. You may want to just leave it the way it was. It's up to you. Okay, so then after that, all you're going to do is you're going to take your tree that you just made, okay, and you are going to glue. See, it hasn't dried completely. You don't really want to handle this until it's dry, but you know, for our purposes, we kind of have to. We're just going to go ahead and glue this wood base straight to the top of this. Now this has like a little bump right here, but that's okay. If you blob enough glue on there, it will stick on there, okay? So that's what we're going to do, is make sure we blob enough glue. Okay, this is wrapped around my glue gun cord. That's not going to work. We're going to blob enough glue on here. And we are going to put that just straight on top, just like that. And make sure you press down so it adheres. And it doesn't matter if the glue spills over, because we're going to be covering that up. Okay. Let that stay. And this thing bends, so you can move it around. It's not a big deal. Okay. So then what you're going to do is you are going to pick, and I think I had it, something that you want to cover this very bottom portion with. And I just took a piece of lace that I had. I think I had dyed it, and I kind of made it a long. It doesn't take much. And you're just going to take this and put some hot glue around here And then just go ahead and put your whatever it is that you're going to use. And you're just going to use that mainly to wrap the bottom. And I put lace because I thought lace looked cool. And I actually wrapped it kind of around twice. And that was mainly because it is lace and you could see through it. And that's all I did on the bottom, okay? And I had it drooping over the side a little bit. And I had it covering most of the wire on top, okay? So it's gonna cover the bottom and you're gonna have it covering the wire a little bit on top, okay? And I left it kind of rough. And that's all I did on the bottom, is I just put my lace on there, okay? That's all I did. And then what I did for the top is I just took, where'd my other wire go? Here we go. I just took this other wire, and I'm trying to remember. Let me open this up so I don't get a little bit more out of there. And I just took enough to work with. It doesn't take a lot. And our little snowflake, the other one had a little thing on top. This one has a hole in the middle. Most of these little charms, they're going to have holes in them, okay? So I'm just going to take this and run it through the middle, okay? And this is if you want to do it as an ornament. If you don't want to do it as an ornament, you can just skip this part, okay? And all I'm going to do is I took a couple of smaller beads, wherever they are. Are they in here? Yeah, okay, here they are. These little tiny seed beads. Not the super tiny, but, well, I guess you could use the small ones too. You can use whatever kind of beads you want to use, okay? And anyway, what I did with that, and you can either use super glue, you can use your 3-in-1. Hot glue doesn't work that good on this, but whatever kind of glue, here, I'll use this one. And I am just going to take my wire that I have through here, okay? And I'm going to take my wire, and I have it doubled, okay? And I am going to take both of these pieces and put it through my little bead, okay? And figure out how far down you want it, which, however you think you're going to hang it, okay? Like if you want it yay high. I just took a dab of glue, and you can do this with super glue too, but it's, you know how super glue is. You get it on your fingers. Thing is about super glue, or you can use jewelry glue, whatever. You can use a crimp bead if you have that. I don't know if people will have that, and this works fine. And you put that on there. Then you take your bigger bead, and this is just for decoration. You don't have to put this on there, and you don't have to do the other bead. You could just, and you put that on there. And this is going to take a second to dry, so you're going to have to hold it. Put a little bit of glue on top of that bead, or where did my other little bead go? Here it is. I take glue, and I will put this on first. Again. And you will put that on there. And I'll take a little bit of glue, put it on top. It's not coming out. Okay. So we're going to put that on top. And basically, you're going to let that dry and then cut that off. And then when you do that, you're going to have the same kind of top that you have here, okay? And it's not going to come loose, guys, and it's very sturdy. This is not very heavy, but that's how you make this. I'm going to go ahead and cut this and let it just sit there for a second. It's not all the way dry. It's almost dry. But that is your ornament tree, okay? Very simple, not hard. It makes a cute little decoration. It makes a cute little ornament. And all I was going to show you with the other beads, and I'll show you this in the end, I'll just pop in and show you the finished tree, is if you want to do it kind of monotoned, where you just have the different color beads like this, like, oh gosh, they're going everywhere, the mushroom beads or whatever, and you want to do several colors kind of like that, you can just take the same tree and not do colors and do that and do this whole thing, and you end up with kind of a completely different look, which I think looks really neat too. And that's all I was going to show you. You do everything the same, the different colors. You don't color them at all. You just, well, you can color them actually. If you don't, I happen to have enough of these different colors that I could easily do this without doing that. But if you didn't have these different colors, you could definitely, you know, tint your other pearl beads. See, I have a lot of different colors of pearl beads. And what I would do is I would just take that and do exactly what we did with this tree and just put the different pearl beads in there. And it's kind of a completely different look. A really cool look, I think. But I have enough different colors. But if you didn't, you could use your alcohol ink, just your brown tones and stuff like that, and do the same thing that we did with the other ones, okay? But anyway, I will pop in and show you the finished product, or I'll just put it at the end of the video so you can see both of them that way. But anyway, it's kind of a cute little tree, and it's something we're going to put that in our box. Believe it or not, it fits in there, so it will fit in there. I know it will because I tried it with the other one. And you can keep it on your desk or make it an ornament or whatever. But it does fit in there. So that's another thing to put in our box. So we will eventually make the journal that goes in there, but we're making a few things to put in there with the journal. And we're going to make one more thing, and then we're going to do the journal. Okay, so we will see you next time, and everybody take care. Okay, so I wanted to pop on here real quick and show you the other tree that I was talking about, where we just did the different colors of pearls. And these are just plastic pearls, and everything else was done exactly the same. The only thing is this was the rusted, already rusted tin that we had. And what I did is kind of this, I added just the white paint to this and let it dry almost all the way, and then I rubbed off a bunch of it, and then I sprayed a little bit of the alcohol ink, the ginger alcohol ink, on top of it and wiped it off, just to tone down the rust a little bit and also add the little white to the bottom of it. And I added the glitter, the glass glue, and that's what I forgot to show you, and that's the biggest reason I popped on. I wanted to show you that it does, I think it makes a difference. It kind of tops it off. And if you made the other ornament and used it, you can use it. I mean, obviously, you could use other colors of glitter, but the glass, this glass glitter has a completely different look. It's very vintage looking. It tends to tarnish and give it a really neat look. I just put some at the bottom of the tree and sprinkled some on, just all the way across the bottom, just like that. And I think that made it, it kind of complemented the star on top, and then you'll have that on the bottom. And I think that really did top it off, and I forgot to show you that. But anyway, I did want to show you that, and also the other tree that I made that was just with the different pearls. I mean, I think it's a really fun look. It looks very vintagey. These, I think, look really good when you've got the little silver specks in there. It makes it look kind of vintagey, and you could even do more if you wanted to make it look a little, add the vintage photo or and whatever, or the alcohol ink, you know, and roll them in there. They look even a little bit more so. But anyway, that's it, guys. That's all I wanted to come back and show you, because I figured, well, I forgot the whole glass glitter thing. I might as well show you how this looks on the end too. So anyway, that's it. Thanks.